Well, hello and welcome back to America Then and Now. Hope you're doing okay today. Get a little music playing. I'm going to kind of take you through a nostalgic trip today. I want you to think about the good old days. One of the things, growing up, and it's not that I'm that old, and we're not really going back that far, but for some of you, we are going back far. And some of you that are in your mid-50s like me, you can think about this, and you can relate to this a little bit, especially if you were raised, in the country, raised where you got snow. I want to talk a little bit about a famous poem, and think about when you were young, and maybe you had some similar experiences. But we're going to talk about Robert Frost and stopping by woods on a snowy evening. That poem literally took you back home if you read it. And, it was written and published, I think, in 1923. And you remember Robert Frost was born in the late, they say 1874-ish, somewhere in there. And times were different. Things were hard, but things were simple, and we got pleasure out of many simple things. We were not so complex, and it was just, life was just different, period. And if you can remember, we'll go through this poem. I'll read it, and you can listen to my beautiful voice as I read the poem. But if you remember, and I know you've heard it, think about a cold winter night, turn of the century, or even when you were a kid. I have some relations to what is going on in the poem. But in the days of Robert Frost, the horse and buggy, the sleigh, being raised in the New England atmosphere in the background, they got some serious snow up there, and so one horse open sleigh, dashing through the snow, that stuff was real. It wasn't made up, it was real, and it is part of our culture and our history. And when I was a kid, the first few times I ever read the poem, I could relate to it, because I remember maybe walking home from hunting, and it's getting dark, some snow, and that cold, fresh air that's coming in. You can smell wood smoke, maybe from miles away. You can smell wood smoke. Maybe you're going across a lonely little sage-grass field, or cutting through a little bit of woods, walking beside a pond, whatever it is. And the things that he talks about, or the mood he sets in that poem, brings back to some reality that you had. Maybe, and also little things like, you're going through the countryside and you see a lonely house on a hill or back off the road, and the lights are on, and you see smoke coming out of the chimney. Man, it just takes you back, because today is so much different. And our rural America is not the rural America as it was when we were a kid. Things have changed so greatly, and there's still lots of good memories to be had. But the poem really exemplifies a period in our life, a period in American history. Now let's look at this here. we'll kind of go through it. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. You know, like I said, that brings back those memories. You know, it's starting to snow outside, and the little branches are gathering snow on top of them. Maybe the ground is starting to get white. So here we go. We're setting a mood. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. Wow. How descriptive was that? You know, he takes the time to think about what's that horse thinking. He stops and he's watching it snow. And he's watching it snow in these woods. But Robert Frost takes the time to think about what the horse is thinking about. So cool. Just tremendous. The darkest evening of the year. So now that puts another, it's no, you know, maybe no, there's no moonlight. It's very, very dark. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sound or sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. Oh my gosh. So now you have the vision of the snow coming down, big flakes, and they touch you, touch your hat, or touch your face. The breeze that's created by the front of the snowfall. So the only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake, like feathers falling from the sky for a little cold. The woods are lovely, dark, and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep. And miles to go before I sleep. Wow. Does that poem not set a mood? Does it not give you a vision? It should. That is some of the most powerful poetry ever written. And when I was a teacher in China, I let my students read that and try to guess what was going on. When they wanted to read something English, I often gave them a song or maybe give them this poem to read. And help them understand our culture a little bit better. But powerful, powerful words, people. And even though poetry never goes away, and it still thrives at times, Robert Frost had that unique ability to write and give us vision. It's, it's just like seeing some old artwork, and you immediately are drawn into it. That's the power that certain people have, and it's really good for us as Americans that we have things like that in our culture. So anyhow, hope I'll give you a little trip down through nostalgia lane. And like I said, this channel is all about then and now. So we're going to fight current events. We're going to fight injustice. We're going to tell stories, from old and new, and try to give us a world a look. Okay? You have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll talk to you again very, very soon. So bye-bye. Take care.